Can you let me know if I'm audible enough? Can you confirm that you can hear me, please?
Yeah, hello, I can hear you.
Yes, yes.
I can't hear you guys. Okay, yeah.
Morning, my VC, you are loud and audible.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. And good morning again, everybody. Welcome to the OBU Induction Day, as we would typically call it. It's a day when we try to ensure that we give you updates on what the OBU offering is all about, what we do as a school, and how we help you ensure that everything that you need to know, everything that you need to put to mind, you know it about the Oxford Brookes offering. Can I have an idea of our experience in the room? Where are we in our ACCA journey? We have 14 people on the call. If I could just get a view of where we are in our journey, in our ACCA journey, I would appreciate.
I have just 2 papers to go. 2 of the electives. I've completed all the rest of it. So just 2 advanced electives.
Okay, so that means you are very eligible. So 2 advanced electives to go. Who else wants to share? Where are you in your ACCA journey? Do we have people that have not even started at all?
I've completed my field level, all field level, but I had a long break in school for a while. So I'll be eligible with the completion of pre-professional papers, which I intend to write September.
Okay, okay. Okay, that's fine. Thank you. Can I have one more person share?
So I've completed my own skills level 2. Then I've done the ethics and professional training. So I'll be going for the 4 papers later, maybe in the next 1 year. I'll be starting my professional exam.
Okay, I like the way you said that you are done with your skills and professional model. We'll see today the importance of doing that skill and professional model. So very, very important. Thanks for sharing. All right. I think it's nice to know the experience of different people on the call. And then, so I'll start with the introduction of who the faculty members have, and then I'll go into what we do. So, like I said earlier, welcome to Ivy League. What do we do at the Ivy League OBU, Oxford Brookes University offering led by Ivy League? Or we pride ourselves in saying that we have a rich faculty of seasoned mentors. I'll be sharing their profile so that you can see them. You will be eligible to be shared to any of them if you decide to continue with this. So we always say that we have a team of seasoned mentors who are industry experts. What we do, there are 15 topics in the OBU offering. We ensure that we allocate people based on what we see is their strength. And then we give people mentees based on what their strength is across the different topics. We do an OBU induction day. So we are not the only approved ACCA institution that can offer the Oxford Brookes mentoring. But what we do is that we do ours differently. We ensure that we're able to effectively, have conversations like a dialogue with you like this to have you onboarded, to bring you on board, to help you count the cost, to help you know what exactly you should be looking out for and the things that are very important to you. So at a session like this, we talk about what the OBU offering itself is about. It's just like helping you to count your cost in advance so that you can think through the things you want to do and then you can do it very well. So we have this will be induction day. In Ivy League, we also have dedicated mentors, meaning that you have one person that is assigned to you that is guiding you through your journey. We always like to clarify on a day like this that our mentors are not teachers. Our mentors are also not people that are, they're not subcontracted to write the project. I always encourage mentees that want to join the school to read the mentor code. There's a mentor-mentee code that is issued by Oxford Brookes University that clearly shows who a mentor can be. In that code, you will realize that a medical doctor that does not have experience in accounting can be your mentor. All your mentor is meant to do is to ask you questions that will cause you to think in a specific direction. So sometimes as we proceed, we always hear, oh, my mentor is not helping me with my topic, or my mentor is not telling me what to do, yada, yada, like that. Your mentor is not meant to help you with your topic. Your mentor is not meant to tell you what to do. You are supposed to bring what you intend to do to your mentor, and then you will have a conversation. It's just supposed to, okay, why not think about it this way? The mentor doesn't write your project for you. So all those things are very important when you start this journey so that your expectations will not be cut short. So a mentor is a guide that the mentor does not even need to know about your field of study. So imagine you having a doctor, right, that doesn't understand anything about accounting and finance generally being your mentor. But that's what OBU says that can happen. Someone that is, certified by the Oxford Book Offering and that can provide like an extra support and help you to think in a certain way. And that's why in OBU, there are 3 focused meetings they're supposed to have with your mentor. You have the first one where you already have thought through your topic. I'll go through, when I go into the presentation proper, we'll see that. But then what we do, I said that, Oxford Brookes Offering Ivy League, we bring an extra to the table. Everybody in our faculty have, they're chartered, they're ACCA chartered. We have some people in our faculty that also went to Oxford Brookes and got their BSc. And we have people that have been doing this for more than a decade, some over 15, almost 20 years. So we have the experience. We've gone through with different students at different times. If you look at how this is done globally, typically it's supposed to be a global village. If you were to go online to look for a mentor for yourself, you would get a pool and you could have close to 50, 100 people assigned to one mentor. But for us is a smaller niche where we have, small pockets of people, assigned to different mentors in accordance to your different areas of interest. And then it helps you because those people are industry experts. We have active engagement. I told you that the register time that Oxford Brookes has given us to have engagement with you is just twice. But as soon as you signify your interest in being part of this, we create a WhatsApp group where engagement is supposed to begin earnestly. And I always tell people, you are as rich as the engagement you allow to happen on that platform, because we know that you are the ones that need to write the project anyway. So you are the one that will ensure that that platform is active. We'll drop content, drop different things that we want you to be aware of per time. And then we always their diet in, diet out, or submission round house. We have some rooms that are more active than the other, and it's a function of how the people that are doing the project that wants the platform to be. You're supposed to get into the platform, make it active, ask questions, talk to people, and then the room is active. So we have chapter by chapter feedback. There are 3 chapters in OBU. And what we do is when we review each of your chapters, we give you feedback as to what we think you have done and how we think you can do better. So again, because we are industry experts, we're people that understand finance, it's easier for us to, give you an opinion on what you are doing. So we give chapter by chapter feedback, and we give you feedback on the things that we think you should pay attention to. And then we give you feedback on things that we think you should do better as well. So that's one thing that we do as a school that sets us apart. Moving on to, I'm trying to also admit people in. We also have a day that we call OBU Presentation Day. Today, like I said, is OBU Induction Day. OBU Presentation Day is like another flagship program that we have, but at this point, we already have mentees that are exiting. At this point, you're done with your third meeting, and we're trying to get into a room to have everyone that has signified interest to you have a meeting where you do presentation. One of the requirements for OBU is that you come and make a presentation to your mentor. Typically, this presentation should be only to your own mentor. You make presentation, but you must have evidence. So we do recording on that day to show that that presentation was done. But what we do in Ivy League is that day we then have all our tutors together, all our mentees together, so that you can, even if I personally wasn't directly your mentor during the project, I would sit on that panel and opine on your project. You make your presentation, I'll give you feedback, and also it just helps, it gives that overall feedback. And at different submission round, we've had people who did the same topics. They did the same topic and they did not know. It was on the day we were doing OBU induction, OBU presentation day, that we then discovered that same school, we had one person, they chose the same comparator, same company, same topic. And then on that day, we then start to see data that may not be consistent. So we want to know who did a research well and whose data is more appropriate. And then we're even able to use the other person's project to encourage or make the other person's own better. So that's what we do. That day is typically for feedback. Everybody gets into the room, both the mentor, the mentees, we're giving feedback on how we believe that the project has fared over the period. So, and that day too, we always also encourage. So there is a plagiarism checker that OBU has. It's called iTicket. I always tell people, I emphasize on this call and all through the journey of ACCA, that OBU doesn't want you to run your project through Turnitin. Turnitin is the final plagiarism platform where your project would be, examined. One thing that OBU takes very seriously is plagiarism, right? Meaning that they want the authenticity of your idea. If it is not your idea in any way, then reference the work of the other person that did the job. So OBU expects that anything that you are saying, you're paraphrasing, you're summarizing, you are referencing them adequately. So general definitions, definition of accounting, definition of accountancy, demand, supply, and stuff like that. They are not bespoke to you. You're not the first person that would define them. So when you are defining general concepts that it is not an original idea of yours, you're supposed to give credit to the writer in an Harvard way. So the acceptable referencing style for the OBU project is Harvard style referencing. So they're very big on it. Students are referred to academic committee. So when your project has an issue or is seen to have similarity with another person's own or something, it is submitted to the academic committee. It's like going to DC, disciplinary committee, something like that. So I remember that there was a particular diet or a particular submission round, like we call it. We had a student who had a friend that was doing MSc in one of the UK universities. And so that friend had a free Turnitin software. And, we had been saying it, don't run your project through Turnitin. Turnitin is the final project, the final place where your projects will be turned in. If you put your projects in it already, it would then be looking like you're copying the work of another person. But maybe the person didn't hear, maybe the person just decided not to hear, collected the free plagiarism checker on Turnitin and took his project right in it. And then ran it. We didn't know. He just ran it and said, yes, done is plagiarism check. And then, yeah, he submitted. Then when it was time for the result to be released, they sent him an email that it was flagged for plagiarism. And then the similarity index was quite high. I'm like, okay, I'm not, what happened? And then he then started provide, oh, he remembers, he puts his project on Turnitin. I'm like, Turnitin? Turnitin is where your final project is going to be inside. You can imagine how the case went, right? Again, at that point, the ignorance of the law would not be an excuse because it is clearly written. I have a particular mentor. My mentor would not even attend to you when you have not read your information pack. So we're still going to the presentation proper. We have a documentation called information pack. The information pack is like the guide, like the standard upon which the BSc in applied accounting lays its chest. So if you don't know what is written in that book, and there are a few questions we would ask you for us to know whether you have taken time to read it. Because people just want, oh, I just want to start. My mentor is just giving me challenges, is delaying me and telling me I have not read information pack. I just laugh. Because if you want to start on this journey, you are not supposed to feel delayed by someone that had asked you basic question in the information pack and are not able to answer. So it is like the modus operandi is like an SOP, is like I'm trying not to relate it to the Bible, right? It is, or the Quran. It is like a standard. You have to read it. You have to understand what is written in there so that you don't go. Some people don't want to read it. Then they go very far. Then you get into the middle, you are stopped because you do not have sufficient information to proceed, or you have done the wrong thing. So very important, the information pack. And then a lot of those things then come to bear on the presentation day. Mind you, on that presentation day, typically it's either a week to your final submission or at most 2 weeks to your final submission. So imagine that you are discovering things that you need to change and you have 3 days to submit. You can imagine that the pressure would be so intense and you might not be able to, get the best of it. So I always encourage people, take your time, read the pack, understand the requirements of the pack, then it is easier for you. Then another thing we do is that we do independent review. So what does that mean? Big English. What that means is that you have a dedicated mentor, and before you finish, you have an independent mentor who does not work directly with any of the mentors, so any of the mentees. So the person is an unbiased emperor that all your project then goes into. So provided you are able to finish on time. So there's a review. Your mentor has reviewed, but then there's someone else who is opining, giving you and your mentor, giving you and your mentor an extra layer of comfort and cover. Someone's question or what will have been running through someone's mind is, these things that you're saying, what's the success rate at Ivy League? We've had a lot of successes. Again, yes, we've had people that have failed as well, but yeah, our success rate is more. I think that there's been submission rounds when we didn't even have anyone that failed. I'm always proud of any set like that where everybody turns out successful. And then we've had rounds where a few people did not meet up with the criteria and had to rewrite. And so it's been like that, but our successes have been more than the failures that we've experienced. So who are these faculty members? My humble self, my name is Aditutu Ludari. Yes, because we also have mentees that are not in Nigeria, we are appreciative of the fact that our school is a global village, and we know that quite a number of times we have people joining us from UK, from Canada, from Australia, from different parts of the world. So we have mentors who are not even resident in Nigeria. So I always tell people, when you get assigned a mentor, say you assign someone that is outside Nigeria, and the person is saying, oh my God, person's not in Nigeria. How do I cope? I'm like, no, calm down, calm down. Time zone, the world is a global village, and time zone doesn't matter, provided you are able to work with the person. The reason why you must have been assigned someone is because of the topic you've chosen. And if we believe that that person is better suited to help you, and in fact, it is anything to improve your chances of passing is what we are after. Again, remember that we're actually on the end. We have just two lifelines here at the end now. We have this diet and the next. After this, the Oxford Brookes offering is going to fizzle out, and then a new offering is going to start. And it is not the same conditions. So that is a bit longer to get a BSc. This is easier. So anybody that is eligible that can take advantage of this window before it closes is good. So we are just helping you look at people or system that can help you succeed eventually in this project. So I have Oladimeji Oladitor, he resides in Canada, and he is one of our mentors. Omolola Shesi also resides in Canada and is one of our mentors. Jonathan resides in Nigeria, one of our mentors. Olakito Abib is a dual citizen, also resides he stays in Canada and sometimes is available in Nigeria. And then we have Muhyiddin Akpeno, who is in Nigeria. So the faculty is like a blend of 3 people that are in Nigeria and 3 people that are staying outside the country. So this is my humble self. You can read up about me. I won't waste time trying to. If you're trying, I think someone is trying to send something to the group. How do I know I am eligible? I passed AA and FR. I'm writing PM in December 2025. Don't worry, we'll go into the eligibility criteria soon. We're at that session where we're introducing the faculty members. We're still going into the meat of the conversation, and then your question will be answered. So that's my humble self. And then Lola. Lola is an FCCA. Lola is a sustainability enthusiast. She is anything that has to do with sustainability. We always would like to assign those projects to Lola. Lola is an industry expert. She rose to the rank of director before she departed from Nigeria to Canada. Now she works with the standard setting board in Canada. So when it comes to IFRS standards and stuff, be sure to have Lola as your mentor. Oladimeji is an enthusiast in governance, in risk and compliance. He has worked across different sector of the industry. So he brings us multifaceted ideas and expertise to bear if you are assigned to him. Out of the 15 topics, when you have topics that have to do with governance, risk and all, be sure to have Oladimeji as your mentor. Olakito Abib is one person that I always say brings that soft skill, to the table. He's a certified coach by John C. Maxwell. He's also an ACCA chartered person. He has experience in strategy and finance and risk and analysis and all. So if your topic is around that, be sure to have Olakito Abib as your mentor. I'm sure that if you have been in ACCA for a while and you've been in Ivy League, you will know Jonathan. Jonathan is I'd say that's one of our faculty members. When he chooses to mentor, and then he brings his experience to bear. Jonathan is an award winner in ACCA. He does consulting and the likes. If you're fast through the school, you would have encountered him with your. Please, if you're not talking, stay muted, so that you do not disturb the flow of the class. Can you stay muted if you're not talking, please? Thank you. All right. So then we have Muhyiddin Feno. Muhyiddin is an extinct banker of almost 20 years now, I presume. He lectures and leads the faculty of financial management in the Ivy League, study time. He is the lead of my faculty because I also lecture financial management. So it's interesting, a beautiful blend of amazing people that will be taking you through this journey. So you've gotten to meet them. I'm going to be posting now and going to. So now that you have met them, let us understand what exactly the expectation is from OBU. Then when we're done with this, we will then start to take questions. So all your questions as to, am I eligible? Who can help me? What can I do? Is going to be answered in this session. Okay. Just hold on. Okay, so I'm sure you can all still see my screen now. Can you see my screen that has Oxford Brookes OBU project mentoring? Is that what you can see on my screen?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So we're going to the meat of the matter where we're discussing what the school is all about, what it has to offer, and the things that we do as a school. So my content, I'm going to talk about the introduction and basic information. We'll talk about the class of degree that you're able to get, go to the project and topic areas. We'll go to tips to selecting your topic. We'll look at quality control and plagiarism checks, the structure of your RAP, the timeline for submission, the resubmission rules, your fees and reference. So for basic information, and this helps you with the eligibility criteria, you already know that Oxford Brookes University BSc Applied Accounting is a unique collaboration between the Oxford Brookes University itself and Association of Chartered Certified Accountants. As an HCA student, that is preparing for a professional qualification, you have the opportunity, whether you are qualified or you're about to be qualified, you have the opportunity to join this project. So what makes you eligible? You must have passed your ACCA applied skills examination. So, in applied skills, you have financial reporting, you have audit and assurance, then you have financial management, right? It's either you've gained exemption from the foundational stage, and then you are then now on the applied skills stage. You could also, so like the person that typed the question, if you have an exam in the applied skills stage that you have not done, that you intend to do before you submit your project, or as soon as you submit your project, Oxford Brookes also gives you the opportunity to be part of this. So I've had people who are still writing financial reporting, who are writing financial management, but they are confident that their results is going to be positive. They do their project and do this as well. They do their exam and do their project, and the results and the project comes out at the same time, and they're good. But if you do it and say peradventure you do not pass, right, your result isn't going to be released. Because what forms the basis of your grade is a combination of what you have in your knowledge papers and your project grade. So very important that you take that into consideration. So then there's another very important thing. I remember that there was a particular diet. We were in school, we were preparing like this, and then it was about time to submit, and then we're ticking our boxes, and then we asked, how many of you have done your professional skills model? And there was a guy there that said, what does that mean? We're like, Professional skills model is a compulsory skill model that you must do before a certain date to be eligible. And he then discovered that he had not done it. So he had to wait one more submission round. So please, when you hear me talk about submission round is synonymous to what you call diet if you're writing ACCA now. You say in this diet, but for Oxford Brookes, we say in this submission round. So there are two submission rounds in the year, one in May, one in November. The one that we are preparing you for, that you're getting to know something about now, is the one that is going to happen in November. Then we will then be left with one more submission, and the Oxford Brookes Alliance with ACCA is going to be over. I've gotten questions on why is Oxford Brookes pulling out? Is it that ACCA has issues and all? No, ACCA doesn't have issues. Oxford Brookes is a school that ACCA partnered with at a time when when the school was at its infancy, I believe. And now the school has grown and also feels that they want more. They just don't want people to write a project and then they use ACCA as their base. So the school has just emerged and evolved. And ACCA, being who they are, has started alliance with another institution, and that is kickstarting immediately after this is off. The only challenge or the extra things you have to do is that there are papers that have to be written in that, which is the reason why I'm saying that, pay attention to this. If you can quickly get this and ensure that, before, by the time that is over, you won't have any opportunity again, then you have to stick with the revised option that ACCA now has. So the eligibility, you have to also look at 10 years from the date you first registered. So if, for example, your first day of registration was in 2015, we're already in 2025. It means that you're 10 years already. When I see mentees that are in this bracket, I always encourage them, write an email to Oxford Brookes, check if you're still eligible. If they say you're still eligible, good. If they say you're not, then you will not waste your time. So you're making inquiry, I registered, my first period of registration was in, say, May 2015. It is 2025. I just wanted to confirm whether I am eligible. And be sure they would get you a response. So that's why I always say, anytime you are in doubt as to eligibility, there is an email address, students@accaglobal.com. Just send them an email and they will respond to you. So as I proceed, you will hear me talk about RAP. RAP, and RAP means Research and Analysis Projects. So for you to get this BSc degree in applied accounting, you have to write an RAP. RAP is Research and Analysis Project. RAP is divided into two parts. Please follow closely. RAP is divided into two parts. One is called RR. So as we proceed, you hear me talk about RR. RR means research report. And there's another part that is skills and learning statement, and that's SLS. So I will say RAP, it means research and analysis project. I'll say RR. RR means research report. I'll say SLS, and SLS means skills and learning statements. So for you to be able to obtain this degree, you need to submit a research report. Your research report is a combination of two things. You are submitting the research report itself and the skills and learning statements, plus all the adjoints and the supporting documents that you need to show that you have finished your papers. So you are submitting a RAP. The RAP is made up of a research report and a skill and learning statement, as you can see on my screen. So the research report has to be 7,500 words, plus or minus a margin of 5%. So the research report also has three parts. So now let's look at your eligibility. Your 9 ACCA applied knowledge and applied skill paper. If you have exemptions, it's fine. Plus your ACCA ethics and professional module, plus your research analysis report submitted to OBU. That gives you BSc Honors Applied Accounting. Again, at this point, I get questions of, can I serve with BSc Applied Accounting? Is he allowed in to work? Can I use it to get admission for other university? All those questions are always the typical questions we get in a session like this. So let me attempt to be answering them. First is, can you use it to serve in Nigeria? As of today, no. And I'm sure that SC is not pushing that alliance again. You know, there was a time that SC was actively pushing, you know, having NYSC take the BSc in applied accounting to serve in Nigeria. But then they weren't successful with that alliance. And but that's just about the only thing that you can't do with it. You can't serve Nigeria with this university degree that is from Oxford Brookes. However, there is nothing else you can do with it. And I'll give you a story of 2 people who I know that have risen to the top of their career now. And this is what they had. Right, first I'll start with a friend of mine, a close friend of mine who had HND. So she had gone to school, she did HND, and then she started at ACCA. Along the journey, she realized that, okay, she could get BSc with her ACCA. So she decided that, okay, no problem. She enrolled, she did all the paper, she did our projects and submitted. She did excellently well. And then she had BSc in applied accounting. So again, it was easier for her. She just took HND off her CV, and her first university education, she changed it to the Oxford Brookes University that gave her a BSc in applied accounting. Again, it was rich on her CV because everybody that sees the CV then always says, oh, this lady studied abroad. And then, of course, she was able to also put the value. You know, there are people that your CV is saying something else, you are also saying something else. She gave the value to it. She immediately finished and then heard that when she's done with her ACCA, she could do an MSc in professional accounting from the University of London. So quickly, she enrolled after she finished her ACCA, and she also had an MSc in professional accounting. She just did like 2 or 3 modules, 3 modules, and then she had a MSc in professional accounting. So imagine a CV now as that she studied in UK. Of course, I'm sure you know that on your certificate, they are not going to put part-time or distant learning or something. So she had certificate from 2 renowned schools, one for BSc, one for MSc. And anytime a profile is read, it is read in the light of, you know, it's always beautiful to listen to. Nobody knows, again, aside for people that probably are into ACCA, are the ones that may be able to relate to how she got all her certifications. In no time, without lifting a pin and going out of Nigeria, she had 2 international certifications. She's currently out of the country. But before she left, she was, you know, very high. She used to work in the banking sector, and that's all she had. And, you know, it was good for her. So please be encouraged. There's another person that I know you all may know that the BSc is what the person has, and the person today is if not a partner already in one of the big 4 firms. So never be afraid. What you're about to enroll to is a lifesaver. And it has, for me, I see that it has saved a lot of people some embarrassment. Some people are at the edge of, oh, they don't want me to promote me again in my organization. They're just asking for my BSc, And, you know, they just get into the school and they get their BSc, and the things that they could not get for years now becomes easy for them. So whatever it is that is your motivation for doing this, be sure that this offers you that benefit and you will not have any challenge with it. You know, I was also talking about information pack. The additional information, when I get to the end of the presentation, I'm going to also be showing you some materials that you can leverage on. So let's go to this slide. I always like to show on time because, again, it helps people to know whether this journey is worth it or not. And I've showed it to some classes before. There was a particular woman, pretty elderly. She discovered that in this project, all she could have was a C. And if she had a C, she would be left with having a third class. Again, maybe for a younger person, some of them may say, I don't want to have third class. What do I want to do with it? In fact, I ensured to continue to, bring it into our consciousness that, based on your degree, based on your grade, based on everything, you would only be able to have a third class if you do this project. Are you still interested? And she said yes. That she's not, she just wants to say BSc. She doesn't even, whether it's third class, whether it's first class, was inconsequential to her. And she continued. So yes, we could have people like that who really do not mind. However, it is important that you are able to count the costs and you understand what you want to get into before you go into it. So hence the reason why we always show the slide. So when you do the average of your grades for your applied skill paper, if you got an exemption, it will be the papers you did not get exemption from. If you didn't get exemption, then it will be your paper from the paper that we used to call F5 upward. So if your average score is 68 or more, meaning when you do that average, you discover that you're on 68 level, you can actually, you can't relax. However, you need to try. Again, I've had one mentee who was, his average score, his average score was from 68 upward. He had done very well in his ACCA, and it was obvious that he was going to have a first class. And then we kept pulling, oh yeah, let's do this thing. Let's do this thing. Before you know it, it's possible. So the grades that are possible, it's either an A, a B, a C, or a fail, right? And this, our guy who thought that whatever he does doesn't matter, he will still have a first class anyway, ended up failing, right? Because I think he was just overconfident, right? It didn't pass. And then, of course, there was no degree. Fortunately for him, because of his class of grade, when you retook it, again, once you fail the Oxford Brookes offering, you have 3 more chances. His second chance, he had a C. Because it was still a C, he still made it first class. But then he had to pay twice, right? He had F initially, and then resat for the exam, and then had a C, and then he still made it first class. However, I really don't. So when we get to the price, you will know, and you know what Nigeria's English is speaking right now. You don't also want to waste your time, your energy, just because you think that whatever it is, you have a first class. So if your average is from 68 upward, whether you have an A in the project, a B or a C, you would make first class. If your average is 67, for students that are here or mentees that are here, as we call them, I always encourage them. You are like a borderline person. For me, I really don't think you should do this project and go and have a C when you had the opportunity of having a B at least and getting the first class. Again, everybody's priority is different, and it's not compulsory that you make first class. However, just count the cost, look at the things available for you, because if you are in this, please could you mute if you're not talking, and we welcome that baby to our midst. And well done to the mother of the baby. I know that it takes a lot to do that. So when I see mothers in the class, I always give them their flowers. Well done to you, Faith. Okay, be sure that this will be a success. So another borderline set of people are people that are 66. So if you're 66, only an A will give you a first class. And I've had quite a number of mentees in this category as well. And they're just running, I must have A, I must have A. Some of them would have the A eventually, some of them don't. So if your average is between 60 to 65, whether you have an A whether you have a B, whether you have a C, you can't make a first class. So it then means it is only people that are from 66 above, again, which makes sense, right? In fact, I think that AC has been very liberal to say that if you are 66 above, you can make it counts for you as a first class. Because if you had gone to a typical school, you'll be thinking of 70 above to be able to make first class. So if you're between 60 to 65, if you have A, if you have B, if you have C, you can't make it first class. Now, there are another set of borderline people. If your average is 59, only an A and a B will give you first upper second. So they call theirs first class, upper second, lower second, and third class. For us in Nigeria, we call it first class, 2-1 and 2-2. So their 2-1 is the upper second, while the 2-2 is lower second. So there is a group of people that I always tell, you are the borderline. Don't fall below your borderline. If you are between 54 and 57, historically, this is where a lot of students sit. I mean, bulk of the students. Again, that looks more like an average performance. If you have an A, if you have a B, if you have a C, you would make a lower second, which is 2-2. 53, if your average is 53, if you have A and B, you have a lower second. Otherwise, if it's a C, you would be having a third class. Then if your average is between 50 to 52, which is where I said that that woman fell, if you have A, B, or C, you make a third class. So please count the cost, know what is your lot in quotes, and check whether it is something you are up for and decide to go for it if it is okay by you. So that's the grading. So, I told you that we have skills and learning statements. So if you have an A in your project and you have a fail in your skills and learning project, you would rewrite your skills and learning project and your results won't be released. So some people are like, why do we even have to do SLS? SLS is important because it's a reflection of how your journey was with your mentor and the things you have learned. And you must pass it. If you don't pass it, your results will not be released. So this one, SLS, is either a pass or a fail. So please note these things as we proceed. So let's see the structure of our RR. Remember, I said RR means research report. It has part 1, part 2, and part 3. Part 1 speaks to the objective and the overall research approach. That must be approximately 1,000 words. Part 2 speaks to your information gathering and business techniques. That is 2,000 words. So in that part 2 is where you do your theoretical analysis, and referencing is super key in that part 2. Part 3 is now looking at the analysis of your conclusion, your recommendation based on your research work. What can you conclude? What are your recommendations to the companies or the entities you've chosen? Skills and learning statement is divided into 2. It has a part 1 and part 2. First is you are providing evidence of your self-reflection. You're answering 2 questions, and the second part, you are developing a presentation for delivery to your project mentor. So you already can see that for you to do this project, you need your research report divided into 3 parts. You need your skills and learning statements that you're answering 2 questions, and your presentation. So the topics that we have in ACCA, there are 15 of them, not 20. Let me just update because I've updated topics. So we have 15 approved topics in ACCA, that you're eligible to. There are things that are very important when you're choosing your topic. You want to know, do you need primary data? Do you need secondary data? Do you need publicly available data? Do you need internally available information? So while you're choosing your topic, you have to pay attention to what exactly you need. So you first of all look at each of the topics. HC has been magnanimous. If you open your information pack, it will tell you what is preferred the type of information gathering methodology that is preferred in the question, the topic question you have chosen. So primary data is that data that you need to assess the people that are holders of information in the organization. So if you're doing something about human resources, you're doing something about internal audit, internal control, you want to test the effectiveness of something, you want to check the impact of motivation, all those things you would need to get internal information. How do you get internal information? You do it by questionnaires, interviews, and all the likes that you do with people. Some of them need to give you their management accounts, their appraisal methodology. It's a bit personal. And if people don't trust you with that kind of information, then you will not be able to get it. So I've had mentees also in the past who started and thought that they could get access to information. And they got to the middle and they're like, oh, this is too confidential for me. I can't release it. And they're stuck. So it's always good to count the cost at the beginning. I've had a mentee before, years past. This is almost like 8 years now. I used to work with an organization then that was a competitor to the company that she wanted to use and that's why when we do our engagement, we're upfront. I tell you my name, what I do, what you do, so we can all know, and of course, as soon as I saw the topic, I also had to be upfront to her to tell her that, oh, I work with a company that is a competitor of this, and you are doing, the reason why I had to even disclose this because the lady was going to be getting internal information. She was working in the organization at the time, and so she could access internal information available. So what did we do? I had to sign a non-disclosure agreement. So OBU sent an email to her. She had requested for it, that the information that they're going to be getting from our company was going to be strictly used. Again, that's the reason why it's important to read the information pack. That way you know the things you can arm yourself with. Sent an email to her organization to say that the information is going to be strictly used for academic purpose, nothing else. That was comforting. And then I had to sign a non-disclosure agreement that, yeah, I'm going to be aware of some of this information and I am not permitted to use that information to my advantage aside from the academic research. And that was how, we overcame that challenge of, that could have brought potential conflict of interest. So primary data, if you do not have access to people that can give you direct information that is internal, please stick to secondary data. Secondary data is the data that is already available in the public domain, right? A published financial statement is already available, investors' opinion, conference, chairman's report, everything is already available, and therefore it's easier for you. Is the average rounded up or down if you average grade as a decimal? Yes. So if your average grade as a decimal, it will be rounded up for you. So 65.5 will be 66. So congratulations to Abayomi if that is your grade. So sorry, I may not see your questions on time. If you indeed have questions as we even proceed, you can just raise your hands so that I can acknowledge it. Otherwise, we can just pack the questions towards the end so we're not disrupting the class. So secondary data already available. You don't need access to anybody. So today, if I were to research into Dangote and I wanted to know what they had done in the past 3 years, I can go online without knowing anybody in the organization, go and do my research without stress. But if I wanted to know about Dangote's corporate governance policy, the only thing I can find online will be a disclosure on the effectiveness of their corporate governance. That doesn't go into the details of how corporate governance is done in Dangote. So if I need to, get a bit of additional information on Dangote, then I need to know someone in that organization that will be happy to give me the information. So publicly available information is like secondary data. There are things that you can access online. like I said, a press conference, annual report, and all. Then internally generated information are things that you can only get from within the organization. So primary data goes with internally generated information. Public data goes with, secondary data goes with publicly available information. So these are the topics that you have. What I've tried to do here is also just pick snippets from the information pack as to the level of information you require. So you want to analyze and evaluate the impact of business and financial performance on an organization's organization of an aspect of an organization's performance and management system. You need primary data and you need information like that, all the way. So there are topics that so again, we've done this for a while, and I already know. I don't know how it happens, but I know the topics that students will generally or naturally gravitate towards. There are things that people just, by the time you have 3, 4, 5 mentees, you just discover that that's the topic all of them they are doing. Sorry. So we already know the topics that people would ordinarily gravitate towards. So you need to take time, read through each of these 15 questions, read it very well, understand them, know exactly what you have the capacity to do, what you are able to get information on, and then stick to it. Then also, I always encourage people, start with your ACCA journey. What did you find easy between PM, FM, AA, law, and all that? What were the topics that if they were to wake you in the middle of the night, you could answer them without stress? That could be a pointer to a topic you should choose. Because again, in chapter 1, there is a part that is dedicated to the reason why you chose the topic. So you should be able to convince us as to the reason why you decided that this is what you wanted to do. So you are still going to write about 200, 300 words on the reason why you chose the topic. So you should be convinced enough. It could be, I had a mentee once. Can we get the presentation slides? You can ask admin if they are willing to share. I'm happy to give to them to share to you. Or what we can also do is as soon as you join us, we will also make the presentation available. Any of the two is fine by me. So I had this mentee then who was working for one of the companies in Nigeria, and she was working in one firm, and then she had worked a lot on a particular aspect, and then she was really interested, and she told me to the reason why I want to do this is because that's what I do every day. And it was so obvious. She did excellently well in a OBU project because she was convinced. She was one of the mentees that I remember that was so convincing. She knew exactly what she wanted, and she was doing it. She was propelled from within. She knew how to get what she wanted, and she pushed for it. And she was able to get access to internal information. And her project was a good success. I think she had a B or something, if I'm not mistaken. So to take time to look through the project very well. Another thing I want to talk about is the quality control and plagiarism checks. Apologies for the noise from my environment. We need to check all our apps for originality. We'll take you through. Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Am I audible? Am I still audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay. All right. So let me go back to the presentation. So they need to check our app for originality. You want to be sure that the work is not the work of another person. I already spoke to that fact. We need to take time to look at, whether your work is not found to be similar to the work of another person. Because cheating is seen as, in our Nigerian universities, what do we do? When you want to write projects, you go and meet someone. Oh, can you write it for me? Or you go on AI and go and write. So there was also, I've been giving examples so that we can relate to some of these things. So there was one of our mentees once, but said, go on ITKs because you pay on ITKs. So the person didn't want to pay and then went to look for all the one of the free software. Even if you pay for another software that is not etiquette, all those things they feed into Turnitin. So they are seen as part of Turnitin. The person just went, put the project's entire work that she has done, put it on a free software checker. The thing checked, told her what to remove and add, blah, blah, blah. She submitted. Immediately she submitted, her project was flagged. Again, how do you explain that you did not? Is it, are you going to say, oh, I didn't read the instruction, I didn't know? And then at this point, it's an exam. I don't know no date. So please ensure that you are not referred to the disciplinary committee. Someone had once asked in a presentation like this that, do I have people that have gone into academic committee or disciplinary committee that have been successful? Yes, we've had a few, very few, that has gone into that committee and were successful. What did they do? There was one that we had during the last diet. Its own issue, again, as simple as so. What this person did, he said that when he was doing his project, his laptop crashed. So he borrowed his wife's phone. And on that, the system picked up another name. So there was a name on the PowerPoint. There was another name somewhere showing edited. So the person that edited and the person that originated it was the PowerPoint too. They were not the same. So again, I'm going to get to that place where you need to ensure originality. And it was flagged. So they wrote him a petition, they saw inconsistency there and all. And for him, I was very hopeful that, he would be able to, come out of this, we helped, we reviewed the submission, reviewed the things he wanted to tell them about the reason why he had the challenge and all. And then we then submitted. For him, thankfully, his result was released because he was able to explain, he showed marriage certificate. Please, you don't want to get into muddy waters, right? He had to go show their marriage certificate, show when they moved. And again, I think along the process, he also probably relocated. There were so many things, and there are things that you will have thought that, how did they see it? But the people that do these projects, right? This is all they do. Their work, they're lecturers. Their work is to research and see whether your project is genuine. So they have tools and softwares that they use to check these things, and they are able to pick things that you will have thought that you covered your trail. So can we use AI as a research tool? No. You have to reference. So again, maybe if you read anything, you can ask AI with ChatGPT, share the source, because you need to reference. So you can't then say your reference is ChatGPT. Your reference has to be the person that told ChatGPT. Again, if you know how to use ChatGPT well, or any other AI tool that you use, you can tell it, please share the source of this information, so that you can go to that source and reference appropriately. Now, you can even go on AI, go on ChatGPT, write me a project on copy this, it will give you. However, you will not be able to pass because it will be flagged. So am I going to say you should not leverage AI tools when you're doing your research project? No, I'm not saying that. But however, remember, it's an academic research. Probably if you were doing something for your line manager, who won't know that you have picked it from. In fact, their language that when I start to see in a project, or when I start to see in any submission anybody has given to me, I already know it's ChatGPT. Right? There are things that I see, and I think people should also know how to rephrase and paraphrase things that they get from the online sources, right? Typically, human beings don't write and put hyphen in the middle. By the time you copy from ChatGPT, there will be a lot of hyphens. You can already tell that this is not original. And then there tends to be some form of verbose in the language of ChatGPT. So you want to also be careful. Please don't contract your project to ChatGPT, because it's going to be flagged. You will pay, the fee is 550 pounds. You can imagine what 550 pounds is for it. And that's not the all-in fees. You will still pay the OBU, you still pay us, pay our tickets, everything all in. It's a lot of money. You don't want to, because of one simple thing, then jeopardize and lose. Even if you had the money to throw away, you should have probably used it to buy clothes for yourself or buy shoes. Than for you to go and seemingly waste the money. So you need to be very careful. I'm sure you already know what exchange rate is saying. As I said, the money now you can calculate. So these are things that it will cost you. This project will cost you nothing less than between 200 to almost 250K by the time you combine everything together. No matter how rich you are, nobody wants to lose money just like that. So I need us to pay attention to things like that. So these are things I've spoken about. So what are the tips for when you want to select a topic? First is you should check your availability of the data. And I've said this over and over and over again. Can I get this data easily? Am I able to get the data without stress? If yes, no problem. You understand? But if I cannot get the data without stress, then there'll be a challenge. You want to look at whether you have news and other media coverage, the companies, the markets, everything, whether it's available. You want to check whether you're able to easily get a comparator. If it's a topic that needs a comparator, when you read the information pack, you're also able to tell whether you need a comparator. Publicly available information, is it listed? So again, you don't, it's a global world. You don't only have to do a project and you say you are restricted to Nigeria. You can choose you can choose companies that are in the US, in the UK. You can choose Nigeria. You can choose anywhere, provided their information is publicly available. It's easier. And I always tell people, what's your personal interest? I already said it. What was the topic you were good at? What gave you the leverage in when you were doing your ACC or while doing your ACC? So I've been talking about the plagiarism check tool. You have Turnitin. You have iTicate and you don't have to use Turnitin. I am begging you again and again, just in case you don't get to hear this again or it's not emphasized. Turnitin is not a tool that is available for you, that you should use. Your projects will be submitted on Turnitin and there will be challenge if you have already gone to submit your own project ahead because your project similarity index. So when they're doing the check, if you have less than 5%, your topic will be similar to everybody's topic. There are basic things that will be similar, but everything in all should be less than 5%. So when you're looking at part one of the project, you're supposed to look at 3 things that are very important. What is the reason why you chose the topic? Why did you also choose the organization you're researching? Then what you want to find out with your research works. What is your objective? What are the research questions? Then you also want to explain the overall research approach that you intend to take, right? You're looking at what exactly is your research approach, what's your framework, what are your objectives and all. This you do under 1,000 words. Then for your part 2 is a bit more granular and you're looking at your source of information, the description, how you collected your information, what are the limitations of each of your methods and all. People always also ask, can I get a sample project? And it is no, because OBU has encouraged us that, in fact, let's say encouraged, they've warned us that the reason why a project looks similar is because maybe we have mentors that have shared a project already. There's a way we can help you and guide you as you proceed, but you're not supposed to just sit down and say, this is what the person has written, and you're trying to mirror your own like that. It will appear like it's similar to another person's work. So you have to be careful. Then your part 3 shows every other thing, the limitations, the description of your result. You're presenting what you're doing in tables and graphs and pie charts. You're summarizing your conclusion. You're advising the company that you chose. You're advising the organization on the things that you have identified. I think there are times that people write projects and they submit it to that institution and say, this is what someone has written about your company. And it should be such that people are willing to use. Again, I apologize for the noise in my background. I don't know what's happening around. Could you just give me a few minutes? Let me check. Just give me a few minutes. My sincere apologies. Please, can you guys hear me? Hello?
Yes, yes, you can.
My
Yes, we can hear
apologies.
you.
Yeah, it was it was a trailer around. Apologies. I had to go and check why the noise was that much. So they've gone now. My apologies. Oh, you guys weren't hearing any noise?
To be honest, we didn't hear anything.
You didn't
Yeah,
hear the noise?
your noise control is on point, so
Oh
we
my
didn't hear
God.
anything.
Oh, I thought it was disturbing because it was so loud. I didn't know that you
No.
guys weren't hearing. Oh wow, thank you. It was very loud. It was distracting me. That's why I had to go and check. Funny enough, you guys couldn't hear. If I knew you weren't hearing, I would have just continued. My apologies again. There was no noise at all. Wow. Oh my God. It was actually getting to the point where I was distracted. That's why I had to go. Also, my noise cancellation is working. Thank you. I had no idea. All right. I apologize for that break again. Um, so I was talking about the things that will be in your part three. Yes, I can talk freely now. I said that it has a description of what you have done, the summary of everything that happened in the project. You will have had an objective that you will have set at the beginning, and then the objectives you are now trying to say your objective was to analyze the financial statement of the organization and determine its competitive advantage. By the time you are getting to your conclusion, we want to know what competitive advantage you got, right? So that competitive advantage that you said that you wanted to analyze, then you should be able to tell us what that competitive advantage is eventually. So if whatever you have written as your objective, you must be able to effectively conclude with it, right? And say, this is what I said I wanted to find out at the beginning. So one of the challenges that people have is that at the beginning, they will say, this is the objective that they want to achieve. And they finished the research, they forgot that objective, and they're not able to answer that question. So it's again another reason why people fail. So in this presentation, I have also put different things that can help on what the examiner has said they will look out for if you would be able to have an A. So there's what you would do that will give you A, what you would do that will give you B, what you would do that will also give you a C in the project. So let's move on. So, we already said that the total has to be 7,500 words. So once your project gets to 7,000, if you like, write 16,000. Once your project gets to 7,500 words, plus or minus the gap, then the examiner is going to stop at that edge. If you like, let all the sense that's in your project be under, the examiner is going to ignore it. So these are things we also tell our mentees during that induction day that you cannot afford to say that you don't want to, you just want to be writing and you're not mindful. So as you submit your chapter 1, you want to be sure, is it 1,000 words? As you submit your chapter 2, we want to be sure, is it 2,500 words or 2,000 words? And as you submit your chapter 3, you want to be sure, is it 4,500 words? And then we leave plus or minus margin. Then in your submission, you are including the extract of the financial statement. So there are other things that are like supporting documentation for your submission. And those things have to be included alongside your submission when you're submitting. So there's a checklist for submission. When you get to submission, everything that you have used, if you did internal information, was it a questionnaire you did? Was it an interview or your interview score sheets or your everything that you used? The examiner wants to have access to it. And that's when you are doing referencing and you have taken something from a website, the examiner also wants you to put the date you accessed the website. So again, because of the alliance they have, they're able to check that website and see whether you indeed access it. So it's a bit more serious or tougher than what you would typically have done in the Nigerian setting. It's more intentional. I think that's the word to use. It's more intentional. It's more intense. It's not one of those things. So your skills and learning statement, like I said, is considering 2 questions. How have you developed personally and professionally as you undertake this research project. Now, the funny thing is, I have actually seen students fail SLS. And anytime I see it, it's always shocking for me because SLS is your reflection. Why would you fail it? So I've seen people that have copied another person's SLS before. I'm like, you guys, you must think that the people that I want to review are Nigerian tutors or Nigerian lecturers. I apologize for that. But then they're going to check it in the details. Why are you copying another person's work? And they're able to tell. If there's anything that anybody should not feel, it will be that part. You can't feel your SLS. It is your reflection. Why are you feeling on your own reflection? So that you're not reflecting. What new skills have you learned and how have you developed them? How would you feel in that? So I always encourage people, as you're starting and writing your project, start with the things that you think you're learning. Again, no matter how educated you are already, highly placed you are in your place of work, you can't say that you have done Oxford Brookes project and you didn't learn anything. So decide in your mind that you must learn something. There are people that come with, after all, I'm a boss at work. There's really nothing to learn. No, because you need to document it. And if you start with your mind closed that you don't want to learn anything, then you will struggle to document. And start to document it early so that it's easier for you to be able to write your stuffs. And then the challenges that you faced and how you overcame them. I think this is one question that people struggle with. I mean, I did not face any challenge. I'm like, Leo. I'm happy for you. However, there are so many things, especially with internally generated information. A lot of people are skeptical. They are not careful. The information they will give you will even be wrong. If you don't know them enough for them, or if they are not probably a big company that can, be trusted with integrity, right? So, you don't want those ethical biases. It could even be the time. There was one time I was reading someone's SLS, and the challenge the person that I highlighted is the cost of data in Nigeria. That when she started the project, she did not know that this was how it was going to be. She didn't count the cost of data, and the use of data was massive. You can imagine. I think for me personally, I've even seen that in the past 1 month, I don't know, maybe tariff on data usage went up. I don't know, or it's me that has been more active. I don't know, but my data usage has gone up. Not to talk of someone that is then using internet for research. There are platforms you have to subscribe to because this offering prefers data that is verifiable. You can't just say you picked it from Adetutu Nigeria Limited or adetutu.com. Who is adetutu.com? They don't know me, right? It has to be from registered journals and articles. So sometimes you have to pay to be able to access, credible academic sources. For me, the people that I've seen that have passed this thing very well, that have gotten A's, they were very intentional. They took extra time to put extra effort on it. I used to tell people, if you know you don't have time, don't do it. I'm very busy, it's okay. If you're busy and you cannot afford to spare at least 3 hours of your day every day on this, or maybe 2, then please don't do it. Because you're going to rush it and then you won't do well. So it's going to take a while. It's going to take a while. It's going to take time from you. And please devote the time to it. And it will be worth it anyways at the end of the day. When you have the BSc, nobody knows how you got it. Nobody knows whether Knick. And Oxford Brookes is also a very good school that people recognize. I've given you the success stories of people that I know that are thriving with it. People that have risen to the pinnacle of their career. And that's all they have. The 2 examples of people that I gave to you, they didn't go to the 4 walls of any university. One of them even went to Polytechnic. The other didn't even go to university at all. I used to have one very smart young chap. It was my mentee as well. He was in Unilag. I think his father had a friend or was attuned to accounting, and as soon as he got to 100 level, before he even went to Unilag, is he in OAU? Before he went to OAU, he started his ACCA. This guy was studying law. By the time he was in part 3, he was already chartered. By the time he was chartered, he started his OBU. You know, I was I think it was about 19 or 18 then. Very young guy. Before I knew it, he passed his OBU. When he finished his OBU, he then went for his MSc. Honestly, before this guy finished, we used to have him as a success story at some point. Before he was 20, he had not even finished in OAU. He had MSc in accounts, BSc in accounting, MSc in accounting. He was not even done with his BSc accounting in OAU, and he had all that. You can imagine that he has set himself on a good trajectory for life. So he's always good. Very young guy. By the time he was done, I think he was about 19. You know, he had all that. So as soon as he finished and he served, you can imagine that the words he just had the extra, and it was just enjoying because he had everything. Even if he wanted to leave the country, if he's jackpot he wanted to, whatever it is, he had certificates to. By the time he and his classmates, they were not indeed classmates. You know, so it really doesn't matter the phase you are in your journey. You know, the next best time is now. So I said I was going to talk about the timeline for the wrap. So this is the recommended procedure for approaching this as recommended by OBU. Before you have your first meeting with your mentor, you're supposed to go do background reading, self-analysis, look at strength and weakness, identify possible approved topics that you can use, the organization, you know, think through it, go through that study and, you know, read well. Then finalize your app title. What do you want to do? Do a timetable. When you're done, then discuss with your mentor. When you're discussing with your mentor, you're already gathering, okay, what did I learn from this? Or what are things that you're intentional about what you're learning? Then you have your first meeting with your mentor. Can you see? Then you go back and go and do your research development, develop your project, do your analysis, do your research framework, do everything. Undertake, draw your conclusion, then come and have your second meeting with your mentor. Can you see how far? And this is what OBU recommends. But for us as a school, we do even more than this, right? OBU wants you to write your project yourself. Just have someone that is saying, no, think about this. Okay, let's talk. What have you done? Okay, why not do it this way? Why not? That's all OBU wants a mentor to do for you because the project is yours. So then see all the way, you then have your second meeting. At the third meeting is when you are doing your presentation. This is all OBU says your mentor should do. And that's what a lot of schools, a lot of people online does. 3 strict meetings with you. First is, where's your topic? What do you want to do? Okay, why? Why did you prefer this over this? Why did you do that? Finish, and then you go and implement. But for us, we even take time to look at your chapters and tell you comments. So, why are you not thinking about it? Because again, we're professional accountants ourselves. We're finance professionals in our own right. So we're able to guide you accordingly. Again, the more reason why you should, you know, sit with us. Then there are people that fail the wrap and they have to resubmit. So there's what we call resubmission rule. If you fail SLS, you don't have to write RRR again. But if you fail your RRR, you have to write RRR again. So if it's just SLS, you just go ahead and write your SLS. Once you have failed, you are restricted to a grade of C. And after the 3rd attempt, you will no longer be eligible. In fact, you don't even have 3 attempts now. After this after the submission round, there's just 1 more. So again, you want to just pass because after May, there is no longer an opportunity for you to rewrite. So if you fail, then you'll be off the program completely. There's people that have failed, that are restricted to C. It doesn't mean they still not do well. I told you about the guy whose average was 68. He failed, he reseated, he still had a C and still had a first class. But however, I personally think that he will have done well at the first instance, and you know, he won't have to, you know, pay twice. But then it was still good for him because he had done well. Let's now go to submission and fees. So, you know, I had spoken about how important ethics module is. By 19 September 2025, if you have not done your ethics module, then you will not be eligible to submit your app. Please don't be like that guy. My friend Kay, I mentioned his name in class today, and he's doing very well. Kay is doing very well. He has made us so proud. But it was in the class that he discovered that He had not done his rap. Again, he then waited till the next round, then did the papers. Today he's doing exceptionally well, and we are super proud of him. So 19th September, if you have not done your professional analytics module by then you will not be eligible to do this again. Okay, then the earliest submission for your app online is 1st November 2025. Latest is 6th November 2025 by 1 p.m. UK time. And then your results will come out 18th March 2026. And your fee is £550. So people always ask, what if I don't have 550? How do I pay my £550? Can Citron help me since it's ACA, blah, blah, blah? Unfortunately, Citron cannot help you. You would have to use your own USD card to make the payment, or you approach your bank. However, they're able to help you. If they're able to help you file it as a valid for FX transaction, and you're able to get a letter from the school as well, is fine. But typically what I know is that people use their dollar cards to pay. If you don't have, you can get money from an aboki, fund a close person's card, and then use it. And what you can also do is, since you know you're starting this journey, please go and get a dollar card for yourself. Open a dollar account in any of the banks you have access to. And then, put your money in it and then have a card that can help you to pay. So that's the submission details. So you must familiarize, when it's time to submit, what we also do on the group, we tend to give you who is an aboki. An aboki is an unauthorized dealer in FX that can sell dollar to you that you can then use to go and put into your account. I hope I do find aboki well. Yeah, the reason why I had mentioned aboki, again, some of you are very rich, so you have dollars already, so it's fine. But if you don't, you might need to approach I don't know the English of aboki, an Hausa person that sells foreign currency. Okay, yeah, I tried. Typically, they are Hausas, so I'm not trying to be biased with race, but then those are the ones that typically will deal in the sale of FX. It could be from a friend, it could be from well-wishers. People could dash you the 550 pounds as well. However you want to get the money, it works for us. So let's go into the big fish, which is referencing. The reason why in this study we always like to talk about referencing is the importance that Oxford Brookes puts on referencing. I've seen people fail their projects because of inadequate referencing. So I'm begging you from the beginning. I said it at the beginning. Anytime you are referencing the work of another person, anytime you are referencing the work of someone that's not yours, you must give credit to the person in the Harvard way. Some people say, I just use one. No, the acceptable means of referencing in Oxford Brookes University is Harvard referencing style. So let's use the Harvard referencing style and reference appropriately. So what are referencing? You're acknowledging the work of another, you're paraphrasing the work of another, you're summarizing the work of another, and sometimes you're quoting them. So you just have to ensure that if you are doing original text, there's a way to write it. I won't bore us with some of those things here, but I'll just show us an example. If you're summarizing, there's a way to write it. If you're quoting, there's a way to write it. If it's in text, there's a way to write it. If it's focusing on the source, there's a way to write it. So your referencing is very, very important. Please remind me at the end of the class, let me show you a typical referencing and how you can do it seamlessly on Word. But let me move on to what would make you pass. So what the examiner is looking out for is your ability to understand in details what you wrote in the manual and your wild research work. So people that have A, they are able to demonstrate evidence that they've read wild, that they are using appropriate models. Again, in analysis, you're doing both business and accounting analysis. So you're demonstrating that you understand the models you're using yourself, you're reviewing the chosen model well, you're looking at you're comparing your two companies very well, you're analyzing difficulty and limitation of your frameworks and all. If you're able to do all this, then you would pass with a grade of A. If you did it but didn't do it in details, B. If you did it somehow, C. If you were just, you'd not use at least two models, you're just doing poor coverage, then you know that is a fail. Then the application is another thing. So the insight into the critical application, the model, the framework, everything is also very, very important, right? So you're looking at the research work, the use of effective ways of doing it, comparative analysis, everything. When you do that, you're also going to have an A. Then your conclusion, when it is clear, when it's accurate, when they can see evidence, they can link the model, they can see clear conclusion, they can see everything that you have done very granularly and clear, then you have A. Then the project presentation generally, some people finish a project, your chapter 1 is written in Century Gothic. How do I do the ethics? The ethics is not an exam. It is a model. On your MyACCA, you will see how you can register. I think there's a payment for the ethics module now. It's no longer free. You pay for it, and then it's a model that helps you. It gives you ethical scenarios and wants to know how you will respond as a professional accountant. That's all. So it will just reel out some ethical scenarios to you and tell you that what will you do in this instance. You read the ethical dilemma, and then you would make your conclusions as a professional accountant. So the same way the SLS is also marked. So they want to know whether you address the both questions. They want to know the judgment call. They want to know whether you are even able to identify your own strengths and weakness and personal development. Those are things that I believe that we will be able to do well. So a copy of your presentation to your mentor, they will be looking at it. How did you summarize it? What was your focus? Your slide should be between 10 to 20 pages. The structure, the finding, the style, they just want to be sure that you indeed, worked on the presentation yourself and it was easy for you. So what is our own calendar as a school? We intend to do our OBU induction day is what we're doing today, August 16, 2025. If you're part of the school and you join us by August 23rd, by God's grace, you get your mentor allocation. We expect you to have, between 3rd and 6th, had meetings, done your own research and have your first meeting with your mentor. Between 6th and 20th, you have your second meeting with your mentor. Third meeting with your mentor will be October 11. We would have a day where we would do your mentee SLS check. That will be October 18. And then submission then begins November 1st. We always encourage our mentees to submit early. I'd said that I'll share resources with also this. There's a dedicated YouTube channel for OBU, everything you want to know. I always encourage people read and understand what is required of you. Attend webinars. As we also become aware of webinars that are going to come up, we'll send them to you. Look at what examiners have said about people that have done OBU in the past. And then there is a standard for Harvard Business Style. So I said I was going to show us referencing before I go into questions. So let me go into a Word document. So don't worry, very soon I'm going to open the floor up for questions. So let me share my screen. Okay, you should be seeing something on my screen now, the Word document. Can you see it?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, so I'm typing the power of influence and motivation. Let's say this is an article that I saw. Power of influence and motivation on employee engagement. Let's say this is the topic I saw online. So if you look at this tab, you see, if you see my cursor, you see that I'm on something called reference. So there's file, home, insert, drawer, design, layout, and reference. Can you see reference? Can you guys see reference? I need you to follow me now. Okay, so I will now go to, I'll go to insert citation, add new source. You know, I said that for your reference, this, and then, sorry, before I go to here, I will change the style. My style has to be Harvard and Gilead. That's Harvard referencing. That's what OBU recommends. So anyone you have on your system that shows Harvard, anything Harvard is the one OBU recommends. So I'll change the style. Then I go to insert citation, add a new source. That's my book, is a journal, right? The author is Adetutu Oludare, right? The title of the book is The Power of Influence, and the journal name say it is Employee Motivation Scheme. Again, you will have gotten this. So I published it in 2025. It is page 6. It is volume 3, and it is issue 5, right? So these are the things that I've done. I then say, okay, in between my text, immediately, this thing will show this. I can edit the citation. Maybe my page was wrong. I can change it or edit the source. If I go to edit the source, everything changes back. Now I saw that I typed two. So I say, okay. I say yes. Now, because I've typed it, I'll go to bibliography and say, either I use bibliography or reference, they mean the same thing. And without stress, imagine you having to type Oludare, A dots, can you see the way it has helped me to layer it seamlessly? Let me change the font. I always like Century Gothic. Can you see the way it has layered this thing for me so seamlessly that I don't have to stress myself? It has shown added to 8, 2025, the power of influence and motivation and employee engagement. Something came, you shouldn't page 6. Let me do another one. Go back to my referencing, insert citation. Can you see that the one I've written now is showing, right? I'll say add new source. So say this again now is not a journal article, right? Maybe it was a conference proceeding that I am referencing, and the author of the conference is John C. Maxwell. The title of the conference is Impact of what should we call it? Mental health on mentees. I attended the conference, so I cited the conference in 2025 again. City, it was in Lagos. The publisher is Adventure Co. Adventure Co. These are all from my head. I'll say, okay. Again, it will help me. You know, it's where I need it that I will put that. Can you see? How you will know, how they know that you have used the right referencing style is when they over on your reference, they must see this thing because they want to see the source, right? So I'll now go here and I'll say, okay, my reference list has changed, right? Now I want to update it, update the field. You know, I'm not going to be stressing myself as to, oh, with this thing arranged, as I am adding names, it's going to be changing them and arranging them alphabetically for me. And it's going to, everything is just, so this reference, I have it. When I go to the referencing tab, everything that I've put in the reference, anytime I click it like this and update it, everything just updates without stress. So I can keep adding different things. There's one that I know that you guys always like. Can you see them already here? Add source. So say I went to a website, right? Can you see there are different things, performance, but I went to a website to get something, right? This website, the author of the website, say is Makinde James Taylor. The name of the web is James Taylor. I accessed it in 2025. It was done in 2025. I accessed it in 2025. I accessed it in August. The day I accessed it is 16th. Can you see that there's one more thing? It will tell you put the URL because they want to be sure. So again, don't just type anything here. Go and copy the URL. So I just want to put something so that I don't stress us, James. Maybe something like this. That URL, they're going to copy and check whether indeed you accessed it. So Taylor has come, right? And then I can update this field. Immediately it would, so can you see, let me make it, not changing. Okay, I always like the reference to be bigger. So see the way it has clearly shown the online one, that James Taylor is an online place. It is available at anybody. They will just right click and open that and they can see the date you accessed it. Again, this is another way they check whether your work is correct, because you can't say that you did a research project and all your online source, you accessed it in one day, or you accessed it in a period that is not even within the time that you did this project. So there are ways for them to also identify whether what you have done is indeed right or not. So anybody that is doing this project now, they expect that all your reference should be between August and November. You can't say you assess something in January or you assessed it next year. So things like that are the things they look for. So in your referencing, you find everything you want, right? You would everything you're looking out for, you would find. You're inserting citation, you're adding a new source. If it's a book, you say it's a book session, it's a book or a book session. Anything, whatever it is, the source must be here. If you now, please scarcely use miscellaneous, but if not, no problem. If it's an interview, you would also put the interview. Who is the interviewee? Let's say you interviewed Adetutu Oludare. The title of interview is Conversation on Best Practice in Finance. You had the conversation with me 2025. You had it in August. And it was 16th that you had the conversation. You just click OK. It will bring my name again. And I can always come and update this field. It would just put everything together. So you can see that for interview, again, the default font on my system is the reason why it's defaulting to that font. And I'm making it Century Gothic so that it's clear for you. It's not like there's anything about Century Gothic. And I think Century Gothic is one of your the approved format that you can use. So you can see for the interview, it made it clear that it is an interview and it told you the date I had the interview. So it will just make it that granular for you. It will start with my surname with a comma. Some people attempt to write this thing one by one manually, and it just is a waste of time. and it won't even give you the mark you're looking for. So why not just stick to the right way? Okay, so that will be it from this session. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll take your questions now. Thank you. Okay, so let me see questions on the group. Amaka says, is it advisable to start the project when you still have 2 papers to go? Provided you know that you will pass those 2 papers before your results is released, then you can. In fact, if you don't have money, so I've had people that have said that, I want to submit this project, I don't want to lose out, and I don't have the money yet. They also you can submit your project, but your results won't be out until you pay. So before you can start the project, does that mean you must finish with our skills and professional level? No, it's only your applied skills that you should have finished with. Is it that you are finished, you're about to finish? Your professional levels, no, is when you want to do MSc that you need to have finished your professional levels. So let me have other questions. Please raise your hand so I can take the order that way. If you have any question for me. Oh, was my screen not showing when I was showing the reference? Please, can others help me verify if Nietzsche's assertion was true? It was showing, right?
It was.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you. So Nietzsche, maybe that was you. But then again, the demonstration will continue. We'll continue to do it over and again. We won't stop demonstrating it because it's one of the most important things that you should do. When you also join the school, we'll send you, there's a video on referencing that we'll share with you. Things like this were also demonstrated there. Okay, so let's take Abayomi.
Hi, Aditya. Thank you so much for the brief on all you did. I really appreciate it. Talking from my own point of view, my case
Thank
is
you.
a little bit different from others, so I think it's important for me to play it out.
Okay.
I've stopped, let's just say, for a while, coming back after a while, to be honest. Okay, so I've lost even the 10-year break gap. I'm well past that. Okay, and yes, I've sent them a mail to clarify my eligibility regarding this. And yes, I was told in the mail I need to pass 3 professional papers and I'll be eligible. So my question is that in a worst case scenario where probably I don't meet up with 3rd paper, and now I'm registered for the what's it called, the project right now. Two questions, sir. Can I still submit? Yes, I know probably my result will not be released. Can I still submit, knowing fully well that we find the work done, the work has been done in this period, okay? Or do I need to wait for the final diet to submit it? In both cases, can I choose any of them?
Okay, all right. Interesting question. I'm happy that you have reached out to OBU themselves and they've confirmed to you that you're still eligible. So you might want to revalidate, because for people that are over 10 years, I just always tell them to revalidate so that you don't waste your time, and then eventually they didn't say you're not eligible. So please go ahead and revalidate again. Then ensure that you pass these final papers that you're trying to write. Again, there are 2 chances left with OBU, which is November and then May. By May, it is completely gone. Right? So whatever you don't do between now and May, then it means that, that window has elapsed. Again, what they would say is that they gave sufficient time for anyone to plan. So please ensure that it doesn't look like you have not taken time to plan well. So I personally think that for them to have even reached out, gotten back to you to tell you that you're eligible, for me is good news, right? And I am happy to know that you are able to still do it. But please reach out, ask them for a firm confirmation. You can even tell them your plans, right? So that by the time you are now submitting, is not news to them. I always tell people that, anything that's written in the email really can't be denied. So, and for them, the integrity of mind is there. So they will try to, work with integrity. So for me, it's better if you have it documented and you have it clearly communicated, like this is the details of what you want to do and how you want to do it. So that's what works for me. I don't know if that exactly answers your question.
Yeah, it does. It does. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Okay, so who else do we have their answer rates? Okay, so someone said, is OBU degree acceptable by NUC for MSc and PhD in Nigerian University? Yes, it is. It's not going to give you an issue at all because it's just like for those of us that have international certification, they don't do any other verification. We present it and then they give us admission. So it's okay. You can use it for MSc and PhD anywhere in the country. The only thing that you can't use it for, like I mentioned earlier, is to serve. I still have 3 papers to write, FR, AA, FM. I'll be sitting for FR and AA by December and FM by March. Do I still have the chance to do Oxford Brookes? Your chances are a bit slim, but provided you pass in December, you can then hope to put in for the one in May, right? If you are very sure that by March you'll pass, the only thing is that if you write it and there's any of your papers that does not come out by the end of May when the school is rounding up, then they won't release your results. So you have to be sure that you pass your papers and there won't be any challenge. If you pass those papers and you write your OBU, the papers and everything will just meet together and then you'll be fine. It's just that guarantee of you being double sure that you pass that would help. Can we have access to this recording? Yeah, I believe so. It's recorded and admin can grant you access to it so that you will be able to review it later. Cost of mentorship. Admin, people would like to know how much it cost us. I like that they hear from you. Manager, are you there? Oh, I see Shay is also on the call. I have my boss here. Hi, Shay. Manager, if you can hear us, please. I don't want to give the whole price. Okay, please, for the May session, when can we start? Because I still have like 2 papers for December. December, when do you mean? Do you mean December this year? That person can please clarify. If it's December this year, it's fine. If it's December next year, then it's not fine. This year, excellent. Hi, Shay.
Hi, Tutu. I
Good
am very
morning.
passively here. But
I
yeah,
know, right?
how are you?
I'm very well,
Well
thank
done.
you. But thanks for joining. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. I think I got the question on the OBU project mentorship. That's 90,000.
Okay.
And even I myself had to quickly go to our Instagram page, so you guys can
Yeah.
follow us on Instagram Ivy League Associates. I think that's the handle. Yeah, but
Okay.
it's 90K. I'm not sure if
Yeah.
manager is there or maybe he's busy with some other things.
I think you may be busy. Yeah. I just wanted the updated file, but thank you. Thanks for bailing me out.
No problem. All right, thanks.
Thank you. So it's 90K. I typed it already in the group. Thank you, Shay, and thanks for joining. So please, for May session, when can we start? Because I still have 2 papers in December. I say it's December this year. Okay, yeah. For May session, we typically start in February. So we always give like about 3 months, 3 intense months for the session. So we start in February and then we have the submissions in May. So you can please continue to follow us, keep in touch. Would also give you the firm date. I'm unable to confirm the February date now, but then yes, it starts the first week in February. First, second week in February, we would have started. So to Fadekemi's question, well, with the new partnership with another school start, Do you have idea of the name of the university for those that can't meet up with OBU? Yes. So what we will do, we also intend to, once we are done firming up partnership with the new school, we will do a day where we would also do like that transition. We'll tell you how we will be playing as Ivy League in that new partnership. We'll also give you all the details. So please stay in touch with us on all our social media platform. We will be having that day where we'll be discussing the role of Ivy League and what is the need for you as this session gradually winds up. So yes, please be on the lookout. Abayomi, before you, let me quickly take bursary. If I submit in May and I don't pass, what is next? You will do the new offering. Then you will be left with the new offering because by May, that's going to be all. So if you don't pass in May, you have one more right for resubmission as detailed by OBU. Once that resubmission is over, and that's it. After May, nothing else. Okay, Abayomi, go ahead. Abayomi, we can't hear you.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, great. My question relates to the sources of data, the primary and secondary sources. My question is the availability, because I know it relates to your choice of project topic. But data could be very, very interesting sometimes, the availability and integrity, like you mentioned. So I'm looking at, in your experience, which source is better or more accessible for students? Because I'm beginning to look at it, I'm thinking, okay, how can I get a good source that have good information? I mean, a lot of information from where I can work with. If I look at the publicly available source, it's highly scrutinized because it's out there and so many things. You are subjected to a very high standard scrutiny with that kind of information. When I look at a more internal information where you get from companies, again, the integrity is also an issue. Are you sure this is correct information? Are you sure about the integrity? So, in your opinion, where do we get the balance and what works best for students?
Okay, thanks for that question. And it's one question that always comes up. Yes, in my opinion, I believe that it's easier to get publicly available information. So whether you are researching on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, on London Stock Exchange, or on New York Stock Exchange, wherever you're trying to get the information from all the exchanges is easier. There are data that you do not need to make payment. You do not need to know anyone internally. You do not need to have access to anybody to get them. So over 70% of our students gravitate towards just going to get data that won't stress them, right? But that's not to say that people have not used internal information. Like I said, there are people that work for some companies. So say you work for an FMCG and you're able to immediately get data from them, and you've probably discussed with your head of HR or you've discussed with the head of finance, and they are able to give you access to that information. All they need is you get clearance from ACCA and Oxford Brookes that the data that you are going to be gathering is going to be used solely for academic purposes. If you're able to get that, then it works. People have done very well with internally generated information. What I just always encourage is count the cost on time and be sure that you have access if you want to use internal. I've had a lot of people that midway into the project, they had to change their project topic because the information they thought they were going to get, they couldn't get. So they changed midway, they're rushing halfway, and then it really doesn't help them do well, exceptionally well, like they would have done. So if you count the cost early and you're able to tell that, it's something that you do well out, then it's fine. But once you realize that this is not something that you will be able to readily work on, just stick to your external information and you'll be fine. So I don't know whether that works. For me, external information is fine, it's readily available, it's there. And then there are a lot of topics, about 10 of the topics encourages you to use public information anyway, so it makes it good out of the 15. So I wanted to provide a bit of clarity on the question that someone had asked. You know, I had spoken to the MSc in professional accounting. I wanted to then Oxford Brookes offering, if you don't pass me, you have one right of resubmission, I said. There will be no right again after December 2026, as in it will be totally gone. And there will be no challenge. I mean, there'll be no avenue to do it again. Then for the new school that is coming up, I mean, no, for the new alliance that is coming up, the new alliance is actually with University of London. And like I said, we will be, officially announcing what our part is, how we intend to play as a school, what we'll be doing and all that, in another class. It was announced sometimes, so like 2 months ago. Everybody's just trying to firm up all their plans, and as soon as we are done with our own methodology and how we intend to approach the school, we would communicate it to you. Okay, someone wants to watch the referencing. You couldn't see the referencing part again. I promise you we're going to take time to speak to this again, even if you can't get to watch it, but admin will make this available to you. We will try and make it available to you. So, any other question? Maybe let me give you a bit of additional information on the new one. And that's why I'm saying, please, if you're eligible to this, just try and ensure that you're able to do it, because the other one involves that you write exams, right? There are 2 papers with University of London that you have to write, and the papers look like PM and FM. Then you have to do a capstone style project to get your papers. Again, you might have like 12 months and a maximum of 3 years to finish all your requirements. So unlike this one that is a project plus something, this one you have to do modules. So, and then it starts March 2026. So I hope that gives like the overview that you require. So any other question? Okay, should I take it as all our questions have been attended to? Okay, in the absence of any further question, I'd like to say thank you to you guys. Are there people on this call that are willing to join the OBU offering immediately? If you're interested in joining, can you just raise your hands? So that we have, if you are interested in joining this submission round, please just raise your hand. Okay. Okay, so we have 4 people. Oh, 5. Okay. All right. Okay, please could you just type your name and phone number in the comment section so that we can reach out to you. Your name and your phone number in the comment section. So just do number 1, your name, your phone number. Yes, raise hand for me. Raise hands for me. So somebody just type your name, your phone number, your name, your phone number, 9 people. Yeah, that's it. Tomiwa, thank you for leading this. So manager, admin, I told them to write their names and phone numbers now, so we can just use this as well so that we can also reach out to them. Okay, so please, can you follow this one I've written now? Can you follow what I've written? So do number 2, keep editing with your name. Keep editing with your name. Admin will reach out to you. So Tomiwa number 1, then 2, keep writing 2, 3, like that until we get to the last person. Admin will reach out to you and give you the relevant details. So please, can we write? Okay, admin, I'm sure that you were noting the numbers. Yes, Kenny, thank you.
I'm noting
Sir?
the numbers. I'm noting the numbers. I'll reach out to them after the call.
Okay, all right, no problem. So we have about 9 people on the call that have showed interest. So we reach out to them. We're hopeful that we can just immediately swing into action. We believe that you would succeed at this. Whatever it is that is your desire for doing this, it would be well with you as well. We'll create a group, admin will create a group, put everybody there. Anyone that has paid, again, payment is very important. 90K, as she graciously helped us with, and we would begin engagement on that platform. So thank you so much, everyone. It was nice having a chat with you. If we still have any other question, please reach out to admin. Manager has graciously dropped his number, so you can reach out to him and he will give you all the details you need. From me, it's a bye for now. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.